Welcome to day 239 of the 300 Movie Challenge. Today we watched the highest grossing film of April 2014, which was Captain America the Winter Soldier. It's been a long time. This is the first.
Yes.
Actually, I didn't have time to do this, but I actually kind of was thinking maybe I should rewatch the first one before seeing this, because I'm like, what happened in that movie? I know I liked it, but I don't really remember the specifics of the plot. But
I guess it goes without saying that we all liked the movie.
I'm low-key kind of sad because this movie is actually kind of sad.
Yeah, I'm also really sad.
yeah, I mean, okay, so going into this movie, I knew two things.
Okay.
I knew that a lot of people really liked it,
Yeah.
and I knew that the Winter Soldier was Bucky Barnes.
Yeah.
I didn't, to be honest, again, I didn't really remember who that was. So, again, that's part of the reason of why I wanted to rewatch the first one. But, yeah, I didn't know, like, anything that actually happens in the story, anything like that, so even though I knew, I guess, the twist, I was still interested to see how it was going to play out. And actually, I think in terms of story, I think this might have, like, the most interesting plot of any of the MCU films so far.
Yes.
I think so too, yeah.
Because
I was so invested in this
Yeah.
plot.
Because, like, you know, a lot of other, even good movies like Iron Man, it's like, the plot itself is not super interesting, right? The characters is what's the good part, right? Where here, it's like, I was legitimately, so I was really invested, I was, like, legitimately wanting to know what was going on, and with the thing with Nick Fury, I was like, wait, is he dead? Like, I legitimately, like, wasn't sure, because I'm like, because part of the problem with this is that, like, since we're watching these now, we know that, like, future movies happen, so it's like, you know, we can't, like, obviously Captain America doesn't die in this movie, right? Because he needs to exist in other movies. So, but I was like, wait a minute. Is Nick Fury in the other movie? Like, I legitimately don't know. So I'm like, and I was trying to think of, like, any trailers I'd seen or any other clips, and I was like, I know he's in Captain Marvel, but that's supposed to be, like, in the past, so I'm like, oh my god, are they actually killing him? So, they don't, but I was just like, oh wow, so that was something, but,
They had you hanging there.
I know, it was like, oh shit, but, yeah, so, the people who, I forgot their names, but the same two guys have directed the first one, this one, and also direct Civil War. So it's the same dudes doing the whole thing, and whatever they've been doing has been working, so...
It's been really good, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember in the first film, Val, and you were like, I was legitimately curious how they could make Captain America, like,
not stupid.
someone interesting.
Yeah, because I'm like, it's such a stupid title, and, you know, the look is dumb or whatever, but they did it really well, and here, they had a really interesting story, and they developed logically what should have been developed, right?
Yeah.
Because since, you know, again, well, in terms of the timeline, we had the first movie, which pretty much, all of it really was in, you know, the 40s.
Yeah.
Then he was in the Avengers, but that was very much focused on what was happening for that movie, right? It wasn't really focused on him for what he's doing. So now they're like, okay, he's in the modern world, what does he do with that, right?
Yeah.
And they don't get a ton into it, but definitely during the beginning they, you know, he meets what's her name, and yeah, they handle it.
Are you talking about Black Widow or someone else?
No,
Or are you talking about Peggy?
her? Yeah, I forgot.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Which is this? I don't know if you guys also were thinking this. Does she have Alzheimer's?
I think so.
I don't know.
Because when they were talking, and suddenly she kind of, like, regressed. Like, she was like, oh my god, you're alive, and you're here. I'm so happy to see you, after they were having a conversation.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh.
I don't know. To me, like, I saw that and I thought it was more like, it was one of those things where, like, it's not that she legitimately forgot. It was that kind of like actual like full. I realize what is really going on, and like trying to convey to him that like be grateful for what you do have in a sense. Like I don't know. I didn't see it as her legitimately forgetting, but maybe.
I guess it could be.
I don't
It could be interpreted either way.
Yeah.
I would say.
But yeah, and then one thing actually that I do think was interesting is the soundtrack, particularly with like I guess the Winter Soldier's theme, because it had these like weird like high pitched like kind of squealing in it almost of like some kind of strange instruments. I don't know. It was very odd, but it was like odd in a good way. So yeah, I don't know. It's caught my attention because usually soundtracks don't really catch my attention.
It was probably to like convey like what's kind of going on inside his head, since
Probably.
there was that like one scene where they like electrocute him, and I was just like,
Ugh.
yeah, this movie is kind of low key messed up, but like not in an in your face kind of way. But it's like messed up because like.
Basically what they did to Bucky.
Yeah, because he doesn't remember his best friend. He doesn't really remember the fact he died, but he has that one moment in the lab right before he gets electrocuted where he remembers a few things and he's starting to question things. But I guess the interesting thing about... Okay, I always heard that Bucky is a very interesting character, especially as the Winter Soldier. Maybe not as much in the past, but... when he's the Winter Soldier, he kind of has this weird inner conflict where he's trying to figure out who he is again, but at the same time, he's too messed up to accept it, which I think they got across pretty well.
Yeah.
Oh, we also learned more about Black Widow here,
Oh,
too.
yeah, no, because
Yes!
I remember, I said, like, during the Avengers or whatever, and also with Iron Man 2, where I'm like, she's fine, but I don't really, there's not too much... about her really, and so this like she really opened up here, and I didn't even know she was in this movie, so I was like, okay, cool, yeah, I actually like what they do with her quite a bit.
It's interesting because she has a big presence in Iron Man 2, and she has like maybe equally, if not a slightly larger role in this movie, but I feel like she has better chemistry with Steve for some reason.
She does, I think.
Yeah.
Like, they actually seem like genuine friends instead of, like, her with Iron Man, where they're kind of more like colleagues or they're reluctantly working together. But here you can see her, like, actually smile and, like, throw jokes around and be, like, kind of poke fun at him for being an old man.
Especially in the beginning where she's like, I'm here to pick up a fossil.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Falcon was also cool, too.
Yeah, I liked him quite a lot, too.
Yeah, I really can't think of anything that's, like, a problem, like, at all, really. I mean...
The suspense was good.
Yeah.
The character development was really good.
Yeah, the action was good, and, like, the climax stuff, in particular. I think if I had to rate purely based on, like, visual action stuff, maybe Iron Man 3 was like the tiniest fraction better, but like that's so hard to judge. It's honestly probably mostly just because there's probably a little bit more of it, but at the same time, instead in this movie there's more like, you know, actual like characterization that you like and stuff like that, so you know.
And then there's more storyline that you can follow and be like, oh. So I would say this is... Are we all in agreement that this is right now the best Marvel movie?
I put it right above Avengers. So, yeah, because I think Avengers is very good for what it is. But ultimately,
like a fun romp.
It's simple for what it is, and even though I mentioned that I liked the fact that they do kind of spend time to have the characters work with each other, I do kind of, looking back on it, feel that it was a little bit slow in that regard, just a little bit. So this, I really can't think of anything. I guess like there wasn't anything like any single one thing that was maybe like amazing, but in terms of just like overall movie quality, like everything was at bare minimum good, if not very good. So just in terms of like overall
basically we see why everyone really likes this movie.
Definitely. Well, see, now I'm wondering, because I've heard also a lot of people say that, like, man, I liked Winter Soldier so much, and then Civil War came out, and I loved it even more, and I'm like, Oh, jeez. So,
The Captain America movies seem to just be an upward
yeah.
slope, which
Yeah.
is good. It's good for us.
Iron Man kind of burns and crashes,
A little
and
bit,
then kind of skyrockets and then burns and crashes.
It's like an M.
For Marvel.
I still wish they kept Pepper with the power and like made a movie about her.
I
That would have
know.
been kind of fun.
Yeah, so that and then Thor. Well, you guys haven't. I've seen Thor and then Dark World I saw a bit ago. And first movies, I've said before, it's good. It's nothing special. But it's, solid for it. Second movie is just kind of boring. Like, there's nothing really bad in it, and there's a couple things that are, like, a little bit interesting, like, there's the relationship between Loki and Thor, but, yeah, it's just kind of there, and you're just like, okay, that was a thing. Shrug. So, yeah. So, but yeah, I would say this is my favorite of the ones so far. And so, considering that, again, a lot of people say that there's more that's even better, then hot damn. So
I'm still crying on the inside about Bucky.
Yeah.
I'm really just to see, like, because obviously he comes back, right?
Yeah.
So, but I'm not quite sure how they're going to do that, and like, what movies are they going to do for that? Are they just going to wait till Civil War, or are they going to do things? I don't know, right? Because I could see. Wait, have you guys have seen Ultron, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't remember if he's in it.
Okay, so because I could see maybe he could be in that, but also I could see maybe he's not in that. So I'm legit like, I don't know. So,
Everything's up in the air.
yeah. Well, another thing I liked about this is it did feel like this was kind of almost. It seemed to more closely kind of follow after the Avengers in a sense, because it's
Yeah.
focusing on Shield more so than like the other ones. So it definitely felt more like. This is a clear continuation from what happened before,
Yeah.
right? Whereas, like, Iron Man 3 and... Well, I guess Iron Man 3 a little bit, but especially, like, Thor: The Dark World, it's like, the fact that the Avengers happened before that, like, didn't matter at all, right? So, yeah. So this was really good. Anything else to say?
Not really.
No.
Okay. Well,
If you guys are late to the party like we were, go watch it.
yeah.
But watch the first one first. You
Yeah.
can't remember it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the next movie is strange.
Is it?
It's strange in a couple different ways. Most notably, it's strange for what it is, what it's not, and what people think about it.
Okay.
I'll leave it at that. I have seen it before. I'm kind of curious to see it again, just with like a different viewpoint. But I'm not sure what I'm gonna think about it when I see it again.
Okay.
So I'll leave it at that.
Okay.
On that note, I guess goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.